Hello and welcome to Time for Bikes, and here today we are going to be talking about, unfortunately, a big accident I've just been involved in one of my recent races. So 2021 was not going to be a year for me in racing. I've been racing for the last 10 years, but unfortunately due to the pandemic and having young children and a full-time job as well as trying to do this channel, I decided that racing just wasn't going to be for me this year, but I was going to come back stronger next year and have a really good winter of training. However, I did decide, stupidly now, to undertake a Category 234 road race, which is actually the first road race to happen since the pandemic struck, and this was being undertaken down in Devon, around Brentor. So the course for me has mixed feelings because I've done the road race quite a few times. I've struggled with it from time to time, but this one was a little bit different because obviously I had what I would consider the worst crash I've ever had in 10 years of racing, which has left me with quite a nasty injury. So the reason I actually did it was because I'm club captain of my club, Wessex Road Club, here in Dorset, and it would allow me to actually race with a number of different abilities within our club. We've got a Cat 4 road racer, 2 Cat 3s, and myself, I'm a Cat 2 road racer, which unfortunately is a bit of a hangover because competing at Cat 2 is quite difficult if you don't have a lot of time like myself. And as British Cycling didn't downgrade anyone over the pandemic period, I was left retained with a Category 2 licence, meaning I could really only enter really hard races. And I decided, obviously, that wouldn't be a great idea, but if I could just back out and actually ride with my teammates, then that would be great. So that's what I actually decided to do. So one little race. The actual incident happened after I'd been dropped on about the second of 8 laps, which wasn't good because my fitness, like I said, was appalling. But then we were coming off of a descent, and for some reason, the rider in front got really confused, and he decided to take a left turn. Now, this wouldn't have been so bad, but unfortunately, he broke totally out of the blue because it was not a left turn we were looking at. He then came up the side of me slightly with his rear wheel. So I suppose my front wheel was kind of level with his back wheel in terms of how it looked from the side. And then obviously I couldn't react quick enough because he broke and then just swung straight across my front wheel, which took me out good and proper. And like I say, it was off the back of a downhill, so we were going pretty fast. I then had 3 people in tow, and those 3 ended up on top of me and on top of my bike. And it was actually, one of them was one of my teammates as well, unfortunately. So that put me out straight away. I had to make my way to hospital, which was a little drive away. And it was suspected to start off with at the roadside. I had a dislocated shoulder, but it's actually turned out to be an AC joint disruption, which is basically some of the stuff which holds your shoulder together. It's from your shoulder bone, your collarbone, right the way across. All the ligaments there have basically been very badly sprained, if not completely broken. It is a grade 3 injury, which means there's more than likely I've broken all of the ligaments in that area. And depending on what the hospitals say in my appointment tomorrow depends on whether I need surgery on it or not. Now, like I said, I've spent 10 years road racing and I haven't had an accident like this, to be honest. I've had some quite soft ones. I've had some road rash, but this one has knocked me a little bit, if I'm honest. We all know it's going to happen one day if you carry on road racing long enough, and this was just my time. So the recovery of this injury, now this is the thing which kind of gets me a little bit, because I'm looking at being out now for between at the absolute best 2 months, 2 or 3 months recovery, right the way through to up to 6 months, depending on if I have surgery or not. Generally speaking, if you have surgery and it gets properly repaired, it does take a little bit longer to heal than if you can undertake normal rehab to get the whole shoulder working properly. Like I said, I have an appointment tomorrow, so I'll be finding out more about that. It does mean that it's affected some of my builds here for the channel. I have an absolutely lovely build I'm doing at the moment, but I have not been able to get around to adding to that and doing any video for it. So we have to take it into account that I probably won't be posting quite as much at this present point, but hold on in there because I have some friends that are going to help me out. Okay, so it's been a week now that I've had this injury, and I've got to be honest, it hasn't really improved. I'm still taking painkillers. The bruising has come out quite a lot, and along with this one injury as well that I've got to my shoulder, I've also had my wrist has been really quite sore, and my ankle also has been sore. Plenty of areas of road rash and small cuts, but lots of bruising as well. That side of it's kind of calming down a bit. The ankle's still sore though, and the wrist is still rather sore. So I've talked enough about myself. How did my bike get on? How badly damaged was it? That is usually the first thing we all worry about. And let's have a quick look. So this is my beautiful Cervelo S5, a 2015 model. The handlebars did take a bit of a pasting, so if we just have a quick look at the edge here, this is the scratching to the new bar tape that happened. The shifters are actually in good condition. The other shifter, again in good condition, but just bent in. My Zip 303 front wheel got this damage from just basically scraping down the road, and the rear frame cable stop from the rear derailleur actually pulled through and snapped when it went into the frame. Possibly the most worrying part of all is this small scratch on the frame. It indicates there could be some damage to the carbon frame, and that will need to be looked at. So as you can see, my bike kind of got away with it, but really didn't in another way. The front wheel I've already sourced a replacement for, because the front wheel on this bike anyway has had one kind of fairly decent accident on it before I even owned it, because these were second-hand wheels that I got them. And I don't want to push it again, and the brake track, as you've seen as well, is quite scuffed up, and yeah, I don't really want to use that one again, so that one's being put to one side for spare parts possibly. Also the other main, well, this is the small bits, so obviously bar tape and all that kind of stuff, that's all easily replaced, even though that bar tape was basically brand spanking new, and that was the first time I was riding out with it. It's not really a biggie, so I'm not that worried. But the one thing it does worry me is obviously it looks like a crack, but it's not. It's more like there's some paint been removed over the chainstay on the non-drive side that needs a little bit of investigation. Now, kind of leads me down one path though, because the bike is a 2015-2016 model. I've had it for a very long time. It's raced with me in everything I've done. I've absolutely loved it. It's been an absolutely amazing bike. It is getting a little bit dated now, but I still think it has life in it. I'm not looking at replacing it. Bikes are so expensive at the moment that I just couldn't afford to. So it's, what do I do with it? If it does need a very tiny repair, which I've got a feeling it might do, I'm not concerned at all, because these bikes are absolutely rock solid anyway, and I could probably ride that with absolutely no issues. Like I say, it's not cracked. It might be a slight delamination in there, but like I said, it's going for further investigation, but it's probably never actually going to break on its own accord anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it sent off, have it looked at, and I'm actually going to think about what I can do for a paint job for this bike. So if any of you guys have got any comments or any possible ideas, I really want to hear about them, because this is going to be quite an investment for me to actually put into getting this bike looking amazing again. I want some great ideas. Please post in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you got to say. I'll obviously keep you up to date with my builds and also on this injury, because I'm hoping to do a little bit about the recovery and how long it's actually taken me over time to get better. If you like what you've seen today, obviously please check out other stuff on our channel. I really hope that you come back and have a look at some of the conversion stuff I've done and some of the rebuild stuff, some of the reviews I've done. Please subscribe if you like it, and I shall speak to you all soon. Thanks ever so much. Cheers.